It's not the video I wanted to start off 2021 with on the channel, but we're here anyway. Celtic lose at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Celtic 0. A performance in a game that pretty much spells the end. I think I would be quite confident in saying the league is over now. I think Rangers will go on to win the title, and it kind of wraps up a torrid 3 months for Celtic fans, where we knew this was going to happen, and inevitably, and as far as the video done with David and Sharp, for as optimistic as I may have been at points in the video, and trying to feel a little bit of confidence. We all knew it deep down today. It could have been far more damaging. And look, there's so many things to talk about. But the loss has all but wrapped up the league, I think. And it just, the way that it happened really just sums up the season for Celtic. But we'll talk about it all. We'll go through the game start to finish, and we'll see what the reaction's like in the comments. I feel like there's going to be a good few visitors over the day. I feel like there's going to be a nice turnout in the comments section. It's already on Twitter. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll talk about the game, of course, from Celtic's point of view as a Celtic fan, and then we'll kind of just sum up what it means for the league and everything else. But today was, but it was a loss that's going to just go down, and it'll haunt me for a while because there's so many points in that game today. I was looking at it and going, we could get something here the way we were playing, but it just wasn't to be in the end, and that comes down to silly mistakes. So let's go through the game. Right, so straight off the bat, team selection I thought was fantastic today from Lennon. It was exactly what I wanted to see. We all wanted Soro and Turnbull to start the game, and we had doubts that the two of them would start the game, and they did start. And I think the big loss in the starting 11 for us today was Christopher Jullien. There's no excuses for today. Let me get that off my chest straight away. There's no excuses. We lost the game, whether they had a shot on target or not, whether it was an own goal or not, whether we went down to 10 men or not. We still lost the game. And the way we played when we went down to 10 men is justifiable for Rangers to take all 3 points. But team selection was fantastic, and then first half performance was utterly brilliant. And it was a real. I now understand what it must have felt like to be a Rangers fan when Fraser Forster was in goals for that League Cup final. Today it was watching McGregor pull off save after save in the first half. It was an unbelievable performance from him. It was brilliant. The Griffiths shot in particular, how has he saved that? Unbelievable. And we all know McGregor's a world-class keeper. We've known that his whole career, He's great. But the fact he saved that, the fact he saved so many chances from Celtic, you just thought, had a feeling it wasn't going to be our day when that was happening, and it must have been, how it felt for Rangers fans back in the League Cup final of last season. We tried, and we just never took any chances. For as good as we were in that first half, look, we kept the pressure on, we kept the intensity rolling right from the start to the end of the first half. It was always there. I think Rangers only had a couple of kind of chances in the first half. A couple of times they got forward. We kept the intensity going. It was great. But as I said on Twitter at half time, you just knew, with the way the season's gone, ultimately, Celtic have never, this season, I've not once, apart from maybe the game against Dundee United at the weekend, there's not been one performance this season that I feel like from the first till the 90th minute we've been fantastic. It's always been we're either good in the first half or good in the second half, then the other half it completely falls away. So right away at half time when the whistle goes, I'm thinking to myself, that's going to happen again. We're going to have a really good first half. It means we're going to sacrifice a lot of quality in the second. And I knew that we're going to come into the second half and regret not taking those chances in the first and not getting a goal. That was the only sad thing about that half-time whistle going. The fact that we never had a goal. I feel like it was always going to come back to bite us. And it did. But when we did start the second half, it was still good. I think Rangers did start to show a little bit more quality and a little more promise of doing something. But right up until Beaton gets sent off, we were still on top of them. And by all means, it looked as though it was going to get towards a Celtic goal or going to get the lead. But then Beaton gets sent off and it changes the game. And I've seen a few people when the card was given, seen a few people on Twitter trying to justify an argument to say that it wasn't a red card. It was absolutely a red card every day of the week. It's a goal scoring opportunity. Like Morelos takes that down and gets away from Beaton, and he's through on goal. So it was a red card every day of the week. He brings him down, and it's not even like Morelos goes down too easy or anything. It's an absolute red card, right? We'll move past that. But as soon as Beaton goes off, the game ultimately changes, as you'd expect when you go down to 10 men. A matter of minutes later, Rangers are in the lead and Celtic are down and out, and we just couldn't find a response to it. And it was all too comfortable for Rangers at that point when we went down to 10 men. Now, the problems are obviously always going to be pointed out with how we played today on the pitch, but inevitably, we're going to be talking about Neil Lennon. That is the big conversation. Like, you all know I've been on the Lennon out bandwagon for a good while now, and I've remained on it through these past few wins, and I remain on it today, and nothing's changed for me. I still want to see Lennon go. I feel like the team needs change. A bit like you go down 1-0 and you're subbing on a right back and a centre, you're bringing on Abdel Ahmed, you're taking off Turnbull and Griffiths and you're bringing on Abdel Ahmed and Duffy when you're dying for a goal. Look, I know we're down to 10 men and defensively we've got to make sure we're secure, but God almighty, give us peace. Come on, Jesus, right back in a centre half when we're needing a goal, when the title is arguably on the line, if it's not already gone, and he does that. Tactical decisions just haven't been there this season. And from that point, we go down 1-0, there was just no hope, and there was no chance of a goal coming. I knew that. You know, just watching it, you're not seeing the kind of the same excitement. You're not seeing the same possibilities, the same chances being made. Everything's gone. And for a team who's down 1-0, and I don't care if you've got 10 men or 11 men on the park, right? For a team that's down 1-0, when it got to the point there was 10 minutes left in the game. You know, when the team know the importance of winning today, when the team know that the title is potentially going to be going to Rangers after the day, by the way, it's got obviously not technically, you know what I mean though. When you're looking at that, you'd think that with the last 5 or 10 minutes trailing the game, there'd be a lot of burst of energy. We'd be going for it, we'd be throwing bodies forward, and we threw Shane Duffy up, which is much use as a fucking wet paper bag, but you know, you'd think there would be a lot more intensity, the same intensity that we brought in the first half of the game. No, we didn't look interested. We didn't look as though we wanted to go and win the game or challenge the game. I think the team looked more than content to let Rangers go and walk away with the win. So, you know, there's only so much as fans watching at home we could do, but the team just didn't look up for it once Beaton went off, and of course it makes it difficult being down to 10 men, but it's no reason for the team to completely take the foot off the gas. I know we have to be cautious, I know we have to be a little more careful and make sure that we don't end up going out and losing the game, you know, 2-3, 4-0, whatever. But, you know, there was just no effort from the team. Once I went down to 10, a couple of decent chances. El Yunusi had a good shot on goal. You know, there was a few opportunities in there, but just not good enough, really. And there's a lot of pointers in the game of what we have to do in January. Shane Duffy's not good enough. I'd get him sent back to Brighton if it was me in January. This is obviously the player who I once claimed was the best centre half in the Premier League, the Premiership, which we look back and laugh at now. You know, he's not good enough. Julien's out for 4 months. Beaton is not a centre half, as once again proven today. We know for a fact we've got to improve there in January, but the league's gone, I'd say. For as many improvements as we can make in this window, I don't think it's going to make a massive difference to the end result. I don't think Lennon will be here next season either way. So how much actually does happen in January? There's a lot of conversation to have going off of this, and it's a nice place for me to start the podcast this week. But it's just it's a tough one. It's a weird time now. But I suppose Rangers fans will be enjoying themselves, so rightly so. And we, you know, carry on from the point that we thought we left off about a month ago. You know, a lot of people thought it was back to regular scheduled programming. No, it's back to what we seen a month ago, which is absolutely superb. But Lennon has to go. Changes have to be made. And as much as confidence I have in these guys who have came into the team, Sorrell, Turnbull, and now this partnership with Griffiths to Edouard again, you know, it's just, you know, I love it, and I think these guys will continue to go on and do well for Celtic. But ultimately, we threw away this title a couple of months ago. We've further thrown it away today. The negativity surrounding the club at the minute is you know, it looks insurmountable at times. So, where do you go from here? That's the question. And of course, it had to be a set piece that we conceded from, which was always going to happen. As I said in the podcast, I said, look, Rangers could easily beat us 3 or 4-0 today. If you take their chances from set pieces, they're going to do it. And they took a chance with a set piece. Granted, it takes a bit of luck going in, but at the end of the day, we didn't deal with it. As we've refused to. I don't get this situation that Lennon's not learned from of not putting someone on the posts. You know, back near post line empty. You know, could have potentially had it cleared off the line, but no, nobody's there. So you kind of look back and say, what if now it's happened? It's gone. It's went in. Rangers have won the game. So Aye. Anyway, that's going to do it. I don't have much else to say. The rest of this season is going to feel very, very weird to cover, considering, I feel like we are defeated. The league is firmly gone to Ibrox, probably. But, we'll still talk about it. We'll still try. And we'll try and have a laugh with it somehow. For as depressed as I am. But the Celtic Thunder podcast should be starting this week. If you've not been keeping up with me on Twitter, then I announced that on there. And there's a Twitter page set up for it. If you want to get involved with the show and get your points thrown in episodes and such, go and follow at Celtic Podcast, at SELLIK podcast. That's all you have to type in. You can find it in a new series. The first episode should be up this week. I'm very excited to start it on quite a negative note, to say the least. Anyway, like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.